Should be about time for us to mute if they're going to start on time.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and mute.
Give people a second to get seated. All right, welcome everyone. Good morning. We're going to start things off today singing hymn number 88, Calm Soul of All Things. So if you'd like to join us in body and spirit, we invite you to do that.
Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Manhattan. I'm Pastor Isabel Call and it is a joy to see you all. Our greeter this morning you may have encountered in the narthex is Monty, Coach Johnson, and our Zoom host you may have encountered in our Zoom room. Hi Monty. Our Zoom host is Linda Johnson. Visitors and newcomers, these folks are especially available to chat and answer questions, but of course any of us is welcome to welcome others into the space and for a cup of coffee or tea after the service. Thanks to Rob Morrison for being our tech lead this morning. As Unitarian Universalists, we value each person's worth and welcome people of all ages, all bodies, and all minds to participate in fellowship life. So if you have a body or mind that needs something quiet to do with your hands or other senses to get comfortable in the space, there are fidgets available at the back of the sanctuary and a kids space up here in the front with fidgets, stuffies, and coloring pages. And you're welcome to use them at any time throughout the service. Our covenant reminds us that our different experiences and paths sometimes lead to disagreement, but we intend to practice respectful acceptance. Since we need to work together, we patiently negotiate to reconcile conflicts and choose friendship over irreconcilable differences. Our theme this summer is collective freedom, and today is the second of a two-part series on the idea of Sabbath. Our bodies and minds need rest. The world needs us to rest and reflect, and our governance structures need communities engaging in these regular practices and regular reflection in order to hold them accountable. So silence your phones and prepare to just be here right now. Later, we'll share the gratitudes, joys, and sorrows that have arisen in our lives this week. You can find papers, gratitudes, joys, and sorrows papers in a box nearby where you can write down anything you'd like us to share, and we'll pick them up later. And if you're on Zoom, there will be a time later when we invite you to type your gratitudes, joys, and sorrows into the chat. And now it is time for that essential liturgical element, announcements.
One sec. Okay, now I'm on. Good morning. My name is Hannah Morgan Phelps. I am the Office and Communications Coordinator here, and my pronouns are they, she. And as Isabel said, I have our announcements. So the first of those is that you should hopefully be aware that we have little slips that you fill out for your joys, gratitudes, sorrows. Isabel just mentioned them. We have a new slip. It's blue, and it is for reflections on Sunday services, to share information with us. What are your thoughts? How are you feeling about stuff? There is a box in the narthex where you can put the filled out slips rather than giving them during the offertory like we usually do with the joys, gratitudes, and sorrows. My next announcement is a request for volunteers. Grown, I know. However, we have, as one of our roles for Sunday services, a designated safety person, so that if some sort of emergency happens, if there's a fire, we always have a candle during service, let's be cautious. If there's a medical emergency, if something bad happens, our safety person knows what to do. So they are a person that you can look to in the event of an emergency. Today, I'm filling that role because we don't have a lot of people filling it. So if you would be willing to be trained on our safety protocols, what do we do in case of an emergency? Talk to me, and we'll set up a time, because this is an important role for keeping our community safe, which I know is something I really want, and I hope is something y'all also want. My next announcement was also shared out a couple times recently. There is a new survey. We're asking for a lot of feedback right now, y'all. This survey is about our RE programming, our religious education programming. And it's pretty quick to fill out. I filled it out earlier this week. And it's just questions about what do we want from RE? What can RE look like? There are QR codes on the paper orders of service and on several posters around that will link you to that survey. Please fill it out. Our deadline for responses is Thursday, August 8th. And we would love to hear from you. The more that we hear from you, the more that we can incorporate that feedback into the things that we are doing in the coming time. And then Thrive, next week, is having a fundraiser that I've been asked to share with you all. They're doing a bowling fundraiser next Sunday, the 9th? 9th? I did it. I did math. Next Sunday, the 9th, at, I think it was 3 p.m. I'm looking at the person who sent me the information. 4 p.m. The tickets are, I believe, $20, or there's like a group ticket so that you can reserve a whole bowling lane because it's a bowling fundraiser. There is information on Facebook, and if you would like more information, please feel free to email me, office@uufm.net. And then my final thing is that this Friday is Beer and Theology. Come have fun. The address is on your order of service. And then I believe we're transitioning to a video for our invocation. Is that, yeah? Great.
I'm the Reverend Isabel Call at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Manhattan. And it's a joy to be joining with Reverend Nori and people of faith all across the state as part of this election Sabbath.
I'm Reverend Nori Rost of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Lawrence, and I'm equally delighted to be sharing this time with Reverend Isabel. We made the choice to do some collaboration on our Sabbath service in light of the August 4th election coming up. And this invocation call to worship that we're about to read was actually taken from Keitha Resources for this day.
Community building God, we join together as diverse people of faith, people of different beliefs, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different gender expressions, different political affiliations, and you make us one.
Justice-seeking God, give us the courage and strength to reach beyond our differences so that we can find our similarities, our desire to care for the earth, our call to tend to the oppressed, our respect for the dignity of all your people, our longing for peace.
God of us all, move us to work with you and one another to achieve our mutual goals, your vision of wholeness and peace.
Even in these days of contention, sound bites, and personal attacks, give us the courage and strength to put our faith into action.
Amen.
And may it be so.
Hello again. Now we are going to sing hymn number 204, Come, O Sabbath Day. I have a quick note on this. The slides are the lyrics for the third verse. With the setting of the sun, there's an alternate option to sing with the rising of the sun, and since we are here in the morning, we are going to change that. So on the third verse, instead of setting, which is going to say on the slides, please sing rising.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Emily Fraser. I'm the Director of Religious Education here at UUFM. And we are going to be going into our time for all ages now. But we interrupt your usual programming. And I'm going to invite Mark Mosier up, who is going to do something special with us today. Come on up. Thank you.
Move this over here a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm Mark, and this is about Tai Chi Chuan that many of you have done at one time or another, maybe. Typically, in a class of Tai Chi or a group of people getting together to do Tai Chi, they go through a variety of things, and they have this series of exercises they like to call Qigong, and they have the form, which I think any of you have ever done it is familiar with. And then there's also a two-person type of exercise, which is called pushing hands. And so that's what we're going to do a little of this morning. So are there any volunteers? I need some people up here. Come on up. Who would like to do a little, because this pushing hands is a community effort. So in Tai Chi, fundamentally you have, I guess I should talk to you guys. You have the yin and the yang symbol. You familiar with that? The circle, the dark side and the light side, and little dots in between. Well, they represent, the universe as that is the whole, and it's all in balance. And the little dots are all about change. And so, in pushing hands, with the Tai Chi form that you probably have had classes in, you're learning this solo form to do it yourself. But pushing hands is taking what you've learned and start to work with the outside world a little bit. So to start it, we pair up, kind of get a little paired up. I'll take Isabel. You're going to do this with us. Okay, so come on over here. I'll switch sides. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take, say, a right foot. How about a couple of you come over this way? Yeah. Okay, take that right foot, stick it forward, and get it up a little bit close to your, I hate to use the word opponents. Your opponent, but your opposite.
Your partner?
Your partner. Well, no. Literally not partner in this situation. It is opposing. Anyway, you got that. So what we're going to do, the first thing we kind of have to learn is we're going to be shifting from the front foot to the back foot. And you'll be shifting, you'll be going together. That is partnership, partner-like. All right, we're doing that. And you kind of stay down and you kind of keep your balance, make sure you got your balance. And then we'll take our right hands and just touch to the back of the wrist of the other person. And literally, can I see? Oh, let me turn that way a little bit. Zoom people. So what we're going to do is we're going to move a circular move. We're going to go forward and backward together. Light touch. You're following. That's all you're doing. You're following. Both following. And therein lies the yin-yang part. Because you're following or you're leading, kind of one or the other. And that's what makes this an interesting exercise. Because if one of you decides to lead and go somewhere else, you've got to follow. Isabel just started moving somewhere else. And the idea is to train yourself to follow where they are leading. And then leads. So if that person stops, you stop. Go fast, go slow. But the idea is you're kind of doing two things at the same time. You're both following and leading. Okay, now let's switch feet. Wear things out. Anybody else want to help me with stuff? Dan? No. Oh, hey, come on. I knew you wanted to. And Terry does too. Okay, Dan and Terry.
And Renee.
You're going to do it with hands. Right, left foot. The other. There we go. You can switch hands too. And we'll switch hands, switch feet, switch hands, switch feet. Okay. Switch. People. Switch people. Yeah. Left foot. Go with your left foot forward. Make a nice circle. Make a nice circle with your hands. All right, thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoy.
Thank you so much, Mark, and thank you for everyone who came up to...
Where do we sign up?
Yeah. So now we're going to transition to have any kids that would like to come join me in the back for religious education in the Jupiter room. They can follow me out as you all sing me out.
Oh, yeah, we should light the chalice.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sage Phipps-Hinkle, and my pronouns are they, them. And today I will be reading some words from the sidewithlove.org. Democracy is more than a political system. It is a sacred practice of how we live together, rooted in covenant, collective accountability, and the inherent worth and dignity of every person. While the promise of democracy has never fully included all of us, we believe a more just and inclusive democracy is possible. Not a return to some idealized past, but a liberatory future, one shaped by shared power, collective responsibility, and the belonging of everyone. As Unitarian Universalists working within our congregations, our association of congregations, and in other communities, we are building a democracy where everyone has a voice and the opportunity to help shape this shared future.
I have another reading from a book by the Hebrew Bible scholar Walter Brueggemann. He writes, "The advertising game, the liturgy of consumerism in the service of market theology, always offers one more product for purchase, one more car, one more deodorant, one more prescription drug, one more cell phone, one more beer. The message is that the product will make one safe or simply acceptable. But the root message is that one is not yet safe or not yet acceptable because one does not yet have the product. The economy is a process of getting ahead or of even staying even by accumulation. As a result, the restlessness becomes a political effort to own and control Congress and court appointments in order that laws may be enacted concerning credit and tax arrangements and regulatory agencies to make way for predation by the strong and well-connected in their desire for more. None of this is new. All of it is much chronicled among us. All of it is as old as Pharaoh's Egypt. The portrayal of the slave camps of Egypt and the deliverance of the Exodus do not constitute an isolated miracle. The narrative is a rendering of recurring social relationships, legitimated by anti-neighborly gods who give warrant, in the interest of commodity, to redefine neighbors as slaves, threats, rivals, and competitors. Into this arena of restlessness comes the God of rest, who offers relief from this anxiety-producing system. This God has no hunger for commodities and does not legitimate commodity systems. This God is attentive, rather, to the cries of those left behind and comes to open futures by exodus from systems of restlessness into systems of restfulness, of neighborliness. In a famous 1961 case, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld the legality of local laws closing businesses on Sundays, saying that they were not, in fact, a violation of religious freedom. One concurring opinion called the Sunday Sabbath a cultural asset of importance, a release from the daily grind, a preserve of mental peace, and an opportunity for self-disposition. While the American Sabbath started as a religious institution, he argued, it evolved into a civic institution and one of value, worth preserving. The author of this opinion, Justice Felix Frankfurter, was a non-practicing Jew who considered religion an accident of birth. Perhaps this is why he wasn't particularly loyal to the notion of a Saturday Shabbat, but I wonder how much of his support for Sunday closing laws derived from the rhythms of his childhood among Ashkenazi Jews in Vienna and many generations of rabbis in his family. His personal story wasn't included in his written opinion, of course. Instead, he detailed legal precedent dating back not just to the arrival of English colonists to these lands, but to English legislation as far back as the 13th century. He dedicated many pages to how, quote, the English experience demonstrates the intimate relationship between civil Sunday regulation and the interest of a state in preserving to its people a recurrent time of mental and physical recuperations from the strains and pressures of their ordinary labors. The day of the week was arbitrary, he felt, but this was no reason to overturn Sunday closing laws. Now, I haven't been able to dig up whether Justice Frankfurter himself observed any sort of Sabbath. But given the number of carefully researched pages in his opinion, I suspect his devotion to the idea was deeper than its mere constitutional permissibility. Contemporary writer Judith Shulevitz, an observant Jew and author of the book The Sabbath World, believes that Sabbath is no less powerful if you come at it in a secular way. She told Ezra Klein, quote, I think that once you do it, though, you begin, in a way, to replicate what the religion meant for you to do. If you become what I call a Sabbatarian, she continues, you're going to wind up finding your way to a community that makes it part of their life. And that's probably going to be a religious community. It doesn't have to be. But if you want that rich, textured experience, it's going to wind up heading in that general direction. So, here we are. A day of rest can be justified as a recurrent time of recuperation from labor. It can be pursued as a rich and textured life experience. And Shulevitz points out that it makes us not only productive and more connected to community, but also more ethical. You may have heard about a sociology study from the 1970s. Princeton seminary students were split into two groups. One asked to prepare a sermon on the story of the Good Samaritan, and the other a sermon on career prospects for seminary graduates. Everyone was asked to go to another building to preach their sermon, but they were randomly told that they were late and needed to rush, or that they had plenty of time. On the way to preach, all students encountered a man slumped in a doorway, coughing. Those who'd recently studied the parable of the Good Samaritan were, in fact, no more likely to stop to help him. The only thing that made a difference was whether they felt they had the time. Ethics becomes a luxury as the speed of our daily life increases. But it's not that we're consciously unethical when rushing. Many of the students who didn't stop didn't even notice the man in distress. Researchers concluded that rushing narrows the cognitive gap, and Shulevitz says that Sabbath opens it back up again. As a German rabbi once said, Sabbath safeguards the world from man, from the flaws that keep us from being kind, that lead us to doing harm. Many of us have long believed, or at least hoped, that laws safeguard the world from the worst of human actions and inactions. We're currently weathering a great disillusionment. The U.S. House and Senate have accomplished barely anything over the past few years, allowing a lawless executive to run rampant. On the state level, Kansas legislators spent the last session trampling minorities, silencing debate, using processes maliciously, and rushing through things. The rush, write Kansas Reflector journalists, is so they can hit the campaign trail sooner. Campaigning is encroaching into more of civic life where consumerism really doesn't belong. So this is why we're having an election Sabbath across the state, as organized by Kansas Interfaith Action. People of faith, of many faiths, are devoting time to remembering the point of it all. Governance is not about winning. It's about the collective good. Judith Shulevitz says that Sabbath rules serve as a giant mutual non-compete clause. Store owners who want a rest will lose business if they're the only ones taking a day off. But if everyone's taking a break, no one falls behind. We shouldn't have to compete every moment of every day in order to survive, in order to simply be. Applying the metaphor of Sabbath to governance, we can say that there must be times for lawmakers to simply be lawmakers, times they don't have to hustle to keep their seats. If they're constantly rushing, constantly competing, they won't notice the actual human beings in front of them, the human beings they're vocationally committed to helping. Ethics is essential for good lawmaking. We must not feel like it's a mere luxury. And therefore, we need rules to limit competition so our lawmakers' behavior isn't scripted into a liturgy of consumerism. This is all the more true for the judicial branch. Judges need to be able to make decisions that are consistent with their understanding of the Constitution, not the opinions of some constituency. This is why, as has been done for 70 years, the Kansas Supreme Court Nominating Commission follows thoughtful rules in their selection of nominees, and why these 9 commissioners themselves are selected through thoughtful rules. A balance of non-lawyers selected by the governor and lawyers elected by their lawyer peers from each of the 4 congressional districts on staggered intervals. Francis Graves, commissioner from Bartlett, Kansas, says that the checks and balances extend beyond the panel itself. We recommend 3 finalists, the governor appoints 1, and that justice later stands before Kansas voters in a retention election. Responsibility is intentionally shared at every step. We're all leading and following. Every commissioner that Francis served with genuinely respected the principle that a nominee's race, religion, sex, political affiliation, or any disability were irrelevant to their qualifications. Our discussions, she says, focused on experience, integrity, judicial temperament, legal ability, and leadership. The question was always the same: who is best prepared to serve the people of Kansas? Contrast this with the election of state Supreme Court justices, as is practiced in Wisconsin. Wealthy donors, many of them living outside the state, have poured millions of dollars into campaigns for candidates. Who's going to be able to compete in this environment? Someone who's dedicated time and effort in learning how to look good to voters and donors, not somebody who has dedicated time and effort to studying law. The proponents of the constitutional amendment proponents of the constitutional amendment to elect Kansas Supreme Court justices, which is on the ballot this Tuesday, have put out signs exhorting us to save democracy by voting yes. But what they're calling democracy is simply the right to participate in an expensive personality contest. What we're here for is a sacred practice of living together, rooted in covenant, collective accountability, and the inherent worth and dignity of every person. In my conversation with Reverend Nori, preparing for this service, she pointed out that judicial independence does not guarantee justice. We treat the judiciary as sacred because it holds human lives, not because the justices are always wise. Their ethics matter, and so the container matters. Just as Sabbath places limits on behavior, thereby expanding our cognitive map, the judicial branches should be a place set aside from market forces, where limits are placed on anyone and everyone involved, thereby expanding the potential for justice. Checks and balances are uncomfortable for everybody sometimes. Nobody is always spot on. We are sometimes wrong and need correction. Or what's right for us may be wrong for the greater good, and we may personally never come to see it that way. And so our judicial system is uncomfortable, not just because it has flaws that make it wrong sometimes, but also because checks and balances constrain and push us in ways that we wouldn't choose individually. That's the point. That's what we consent to in a democracy, because we believe in a higher collective purpose, and we are humble enough to know that it takes a diversity of perspectives to achieve that higher purpose. In a recent conversation with Mark Mosier, He joked that when you push someone around with the Tai Chi exercise, push hands, they might lose their temper, but they can still keep their balance. This is exactly how we should feel, ideally, when judicial institutions push us around. We might get angry, but this isn't or shouldn't be an arm wrestling match that we try to win by kicking our opponent's legs out from under them. It should be a trustworthy relationship within which we can dance in response to pressure. But that takes practice. A dedicated Tai Chi practice allows us to balance better in various positions and react faster when our balance is challenged. We might still stumble, but we're less likely to fall. And if you want to do more Tai Chi, I encourage you to talk to Mark. I want the people making decisions that affect my life to dedicate time and attention to such a practice. So I'm going to vote for people who demonstrate integrity and balance, and for institutional structures that support integrity and balance. But as with Tai Chi, a successful practice of civic engagement is not a solitary act, and it requires more than showing up on a Tuesday every once in a while. When we move together regularly, we have an easier time remembering the steps, and it is a much more rich and textured experience. We're not consumers accumulating legislators and judges as we would accumulate one more car, one more deodorant, one more prescription drug or cell phone or beer. It's not about getting ahead or even staying even. It's about neighborliness and balance. So cross the threshold into your polling location with intention and purpose, knowing that you are the Good Samaritan. Unfold your cognitive map. Slow down. And discern how best to trust the trustworthy and co-create one decision at a time, a world shaped by shared power, collective responsibility, and the belonging of everyone. May it be so.
Good morning, everyone. I am Linda Johnson, the Zoom host for today, and my pronouns are she, her. I invite you now into a spirit of generosity. The mission of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Manhattan is to be a diverse, evolving spiritual community acting for a better world. We dedicate ourselves and our offering to this mission, weaving a tapestry of love both within and beyond these walls. Throughout the month of August, our UUFM Helping Hands organization is Project Excel, which provides personal enrichment and life skill classes to adults 18 years and older with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Money placed in envelopes in the offering basket will go to Project Excel. Unmarked donations will go into the UUFM General Fund to support our mission. Many of us donate online to the fellowship, the Helping Hands organization, and or the Blessing Box at uufm.net/donate, or you can also use the QR code on your order of service. Project Excel is hosted by UUFM, not UUFM, UFM, which is a community organization which has been long in this country, in this city, helping people with educational opportunities. They're having a work day for their building and grounds on Friday, August 7th, from 8:30 a.m. to noon. If you'd like to join in, bring work gloves and attend. UUFM, in case you're not UFM, why do I say that? UFM is located at 1221 Thurston Street, which is just off North Manhattan Avenue across from the university. When the basket comes to you, you may add any written gratitudes, joys, and sorrows. Even if you aren't putting anything in the basket today, you can pause while holding it as a ritual of thanks for the generosity of our world. If you're here on Zoom, now is the time to type your gratitudes, joys, and sorrows into the chat and turn on your camera if you'd like to be seen in the sanctuary. Let us move now into generous presence.
Thank you, Renee. That was beautiful. Thank you. We've come to the time in our service when we receive and share gifts of compassion and vulnerability. In a few minutes after we've read what you've written down for us to share, there'll be a time to come forward and drop stones into the water to signify anything else that remains on your heart. The water in this bowl is sacred not just because it symbolically holds what we bring today. Like all water, it connects us to living beings across time and space and to each other. So I invite you to take a few breaths and call up a spirit of neighborliness as I pour water to connect us to those who've come before.
Now we invite you to join us in body and spirit to sing our closing hymn, number 83, Winds Be Still.
Jeff extinguishes our chalice, I invite you all to continue to let the light shine in, to illuminate our inward view and help us see with clarity. Shine bright and true so we may join our songs in new sounds that become full symphony. Today, this afternoon, on Tuesday, and in all the days that come.